folks. This is episode 15 of the Counting Sheep podcast. My name is Ruth, and I'll be your host. My podcast is about mostly fiber arts and life, as it were, here on our small sheep farm in Vermont. Today, I've got a whole bunch of stuff to show you. I'll be showing you some crochet, some knitting, a little bit of spinning, and some things that arrived in the mail. So we'll get started. I just want to briefly touch upon the fact that I'm doing Vlogmas, and I never announced that I would. It was kind of a last minute decision. I wasn't quite sure I was up for it, but I have to say I'm having a boatload of fun with it. And I've actually acquired quite a few subscribers, so thank you for joining me. I hope you like what you see here. Yeah, like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. It helps us all. But yeah, Vlogmas has been fun, and I'm gonna continue as long as I have content. Shouldn't be a problem. I think Vermont does up Christmas pretty well. And I have my own little crafty things that I do. So as long as you don't mind a little bit of my dog, my cat, outdoor walking, some snow. Although today, unfortunately, we had quite a deluge of rain last night, so a lot of our snow has melted away. So I'm hoping that we get a little more snow between now and Christmas, so it looks a little more Christmassy out there. So I have a plan, I have notes here, so I'm hoping to stick to the notes. What I have on today, I've been bad about telling everybody what I have on. This is a very old finished object from many years ago. This is an old Lopi pattern, and it's done up in yarn from Manos del Uruguay, excuse me. And I can't for the life of me tell you what the colorway is, because I think this dates before Ravelry existed, which really dates me. But anyway, I'm going to stand up just so you can see the rest of the patterning. So, is this a typical Nordic type star pattern? And there's just a little bit of color work on the cuffs here. Yeah, it's so old, it's pilling. So I did a little bit of color work on the bottom as well. But I'm sure this is two pattern, because that's how I was kind of knitting way back in the day. I wasn't altering anything. I was just kind of, casting on and going. So that's what I'm wearing. Unfortunately, there are a lot of things in my sweater wardrobe and my vest wardrobe that are like that. That either the patterns are hard to get or the yarn itself is hard to get. So I apologize for that ahead of time, and for prior episodes when I've had things on that I have not told you about. I've been knitting a long time, but hopefully my content going forward will be fairly new or newish. So, but like I said, I've been cleaning out my stash, and so a lot of stuff that I have is from years gone by. So if there are substitutions to the yarn, I'll certainly try to offer them up. So all right, so that's kind of intro stuff. I'm going to dive right in. We're going to start with crochet today, and whips, which are works in progress. I want to share first some progress on my Kitzbühel cardigan. This is a pattern by Sandra Gutierrez of Nomad Stitches. And this was one of those whips that I had to dig out from under the dust, and it's very pretty. And I managed to get the body, I think I had the body down to here or something, down to here. And I finished off the body, finished off this, and then past 2 weeks I was working and making decisions on the actual sleeve. So I'm carrying the patterning from the yoke as well as the colors from the yoke down into the sleeve more than what the pattern calls for. So there I am, like, doing my own thing. But luckily, you know, Sandra's really good. She welcomes people's takes on her patterns. So, but I'm really liking it. I think I'm going to take the color and the patterning down to my actual elbow, and then from there on down I'll continue with that aqua color as well as, you know, the decreases that go into until they get to the wrist. So, but yeah, very cool. I've been looking for buttons for this. I haven't come up with anything yet. These buttonholes are very small, and so they're going to take buttons that are 1/4 inch or less, so very tiny. Almost, you know, like when I was looking on Etsy, almost doll size buttons. So, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Just want to very briefly tell you, this is the base yarn, and this is from Earl Grey Fibers in the bisque colorway. And the other ones I mentioned before are they're fingering weight yarns, and they, let's see, I think I actually misplaced the, but anyway, this is the top half full of my dog's hair, and the bottom half I have quite a bit left. Oops, everything's going on the floor. And let's see, I can't seem to find it right now, but you get the idea. More on that. It's not like you're not going to see this one again soon, because this is, like I said, one of those things I want to finish up and wear. So, yeah. So that's the Kitzbühel cardigan by Sandra Gutierrez of Nomad Stitches. So yeah, the next thing I want to show you, I'm so excited about. This is a project I am doing for a gift, a Christmas gift, and I always do it every year. I say I'm not going to do gift knitting because it tends to get really stressful, as you might find. However, my brother happens to be very knit and crochet worthy, as well as sew worthy. I made him a pair of slippers one year out of just fleece material, and he's been wearing it, wearing those and having a good time. So, so this pattern, decided to crochet him a pair this time, keep his feet warm over the winter. He lives in New Jersey. They get, you know, damp winters there. So this is Marta Mitchell's Banjo Socks, which happens to be her December pattern of the month. So you can go over and check that out. I'm trying to recall if she has a deal going with that pattern. She usually does when she lists it as a pattern of the month. She lists a discount code with it. So go over to her channel, or also her blog and her website, martamitchell.com. Or actually, it's martamitchelldesigns.com, sorry. So anyway, this is the picture of the banjo socks. She does them in 2 colors, and I decided to do it in 1 color, since, you know, men like things muted down a little bit. And this is the color that I chose, and like I said, I apologize, this is probably a very old yarn. This is from Universal Yarn, called the Deluxe Worsted Tones. 200 yards. Yeah, 200 yards in 100 grams. So that's a nice worsted weight yarn, or Aran weight as they call it in the UK. This is color number 348. So nice browns and gray tones in there. So very manly color. And I have one finished. So I have it on the sock blocker already. And sorry about I haven't tucked the ends in yet. I haven't blocked them out yet. This is just for show. But you can see that nice bobbling pattern she has on top of the foot. They're a toe-up sock and really fast crochet. Fast gift. So if you're if you're into gift knitting or gift crocheting, definitely highly recommend. So yeah, and the cuff is turned down. However, you can flip it up if you want. It makes kind of a leg warmer type sock as well. And I'm this far. I should have gotten this done by podcast, but I think my mind went somewhere and I goofed a little bit, so I had to tear back quite a bit. But here's the second sock, and I'm just about to start the cuff. And it all goes so quickly that in no time you have a nice gift. So I might be making these also for my brother-in-law. I'm not sure. It all depends on how far I get with actually, you know, I have other things that are going on, other crocheting that I've been doing. So we'll see how that goes. But I can't recommend that pattern enough. It's really cool, and I think I'm going to make myself a pair once all the Christmas hubbub dies down. So once again, Banjo Socks by Marta Mitchell. She has a podcast, and she is doing Vlogmas, so go over and check her out. She lives in Scotland, so very enjoyable podcast. All right, so my finished objects, I have several. As you know, I mentioned in my last podcast that I bought the Jimmy Bean's Craft Vent Advent Calendar. So, and I've been opening it every day on Vlogmas. And it's a series of little drawers that you pull out, and there's either notions, yarn. One drawer had some candy in it, some chocolate, which was delightful. But they send you the PDF of the patterns, and they're all ornaments, and they're all kind of different techniques. And so the very first day you get a crochet hook and a set of double pointed needles. So you could go either way. They send you both knitting patterns and crochet patterns. So I elected to do the crochet because it's faster for me. But I wanted to show you the ones I have done so far. And you end up stuffing them usually with fiber fill. But the very first ornament, I had some old, not old, I bought them at Joann's. They were like bulbs, just plain old glass bulbs. And I decided to, for the first ornament, to use that instead to give it a little more body. So there's the first ornament. It's little trees. This is crocheted with the tapestry crochet technique. So 2-color knitting, and you carry the color that's not being used along your stitches. So kind of a nice foresty type look to it. And then there was these stars, which are just lovely. And they're two-sided, and you stuff them a little bit with some stuffing. This I used fiber fill for. So those are kind of fun. And you know, the yarn that you get, the coloring depends on what colorway you chose. And they had, I think, 3 different colorways, but I chose the Winter Nights. So they're kind of a, as you go along, as you can see, this was kind of teal, and there was a variegated white with gray specks in it. And the rest of them have been kind of blues and grays and that sort of thing. They had, the other 2 colorways were called Festive Delights and Holiday Lights. And I think the Holiday Lights one had a little sparkle in it. So, but I'm enjoying this, the winter one. The next one, I believe, was this little ornament here. They call this the teardrop. So kind of teal and gray Once again, tapestry crochet. And then the next one was a set of hearts, which, oh, these are so cute. Very cute. I haven't put any kind of hangers on these yet. There, I'm gonna drop them. And then the latest one, although I think there's another sphere, which is the latest one. I haven't started that one yet. This is also tapestry crochet, and this is called the bulb. So once again, I have not put a little hanger in yet, but a little light blue there and some white. So there you go. Sorry about the dog hair. My dog blew his coat, and so we took him to the groomer. And so we're still recovering on getting the dog hair under control in the house. But those are my little FOs. I'm glad to say that I've been keeping up with the yarn coming from the Advent and crocheting the little ornaments. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep that up, but we'll see. We'll see. It's fun. It's a lot of fun to be able to make the stuff from your Advent calendar when you're opening it. So the yarn I just want to mention is Madeline Tosh. So very nice yarn. It is a superwash, I believe, and it's just a singles, but it's a very nicely balanced singles yarn. So what I mean by singles is it's not plied, so it's a single ply yarn. So like I said, the colorway was Winter Nights, and there's a lot of different blues, teals, white, and grays in it. So it's nice to see the colors coming. Unfortunately, I heard that Jimmy Beans is not going to be doing the Craft Vent calendar next year or anymore, and I was very saddened by that. But I'm sure they're going to come up with something as good. So we'll have to just stay tuned to see what they come up with. So that is it for crochet. Been quite busy with my crochet. I'm going to move on to knitting. So I have a little sad story. Let me find my bag here. I mentioned to you and I showed you that I was doing the Sawakatu socks by Katrine Birkenwasser, and I had gotten quite far in the pattern. This is a pattern that was in the the first version of the 52 Weeks of Socks, but it's now, the pattern is now available on Ravelry. And I was doing them up in a nice Tweedy yarn by Dirty Water Dye Works, and she's in Boston. And unfortunately, what happened with this project was, if you can believe it, it's a nice twisted stitch pattern. It's not all that difficult, but I kept dropping stitches, and I found it more and more difficult to pick up my drop stitches because the colorway is kind of a denim-y blue with speckles. So I'll show you what that looks like. Here it is, and you can imagine from this what happened. I think after the 10th time I dropped a stitch, I said that was it. So this went into the frog pond, unfortunately. Now, not unfortunately, I will be doing that pattern again, just not in this yarn. I think this yarn is well suited for maybe a very simple pearl knit pattern. Very simple socks. You know, it's a dark color, so it's difficult to pick up a drop stitch with a dark color, for me at least. I need a really strong light, at least one of my OT lights that I have kicking around. So I did frog those. It's not a tragedy. As I said, I was getting kind of frustrated with the whole process, and so so this will be knitted into something different, and that's fine. And I will find a suitable yarn for the Sawakatu socks. Just so you know, let me see. Well, I don't really have a good picture to show you, but you know, you can kind of look it up on Ravelry. This is actually from the book itself, but it has this nice little, on the heel and going up the front of the foot, a nice textured pattern of twisted stitches. So the twisted stitch is just twisting 2 stitches, and that's it. So you don't even need a cable needle. And that may have been part of the problem too, is that I wasn't using a cable needle. The yarn is tweedy, it's dark. So, I mean, I can't tell you, this is like the first time in so many years that I dropped that many stitches. It just doesn't, it's not part of what I normally do with knitting. So I was kind of like, that's it. I don't think this is happening. So, and that happens, you know, I mean, you just, why be, you know, frustrated with your knitting? It's supposed to be fun, right? So that went into the frog pond, but stay tuned. We'll find something else to do with the yarn and the pattern. All right, so moving on to happier things. I have a whip, and if you've been watching Vlogmas, you know that I purchased from Ellie of Craft House Magic over in the UK, her Rockin' Robin sock kit, which comes with this beautiful bag that she sewed herself. Beautiful little robin on the front with the little notes. I love it. And this beautiful skein of yarn, which she dyed herself. And this is the Rockin' Robin colorway. It has a high twist. It is 80% superwash BFL and 20% nylon. So, yeah, and so here is her card that she put in. So sweet. She's got such an attention to detail in everything that she does. And here is a picture of the socks themselves. You see they have this turned cuff up here, and then the rest of the foot is the main color. So this is a double cuff, so your ankles stay very toasty. And I haven't gotten far with these, but I wanted to show them to you anyway. I'm eventually going to be doing these two at a time, but since you start off with a different kind of cast on, which it's no secret, it's a provisional cast on from what you can see. I use different yarn to do a provisional cast on to make the double cuff. So I thought since that had enough going on that I'd do those singly. I'd do the cuffs by themselves, and then I'd start to do the rest of the sock two at a time. So I'm just waiting to divide up this into two cakes, finish off these cuffs, and then I'll be sailing along on the foot, the heel and the foot. So, but yeah, I'm loving, well, I love a red, as you can see. And I love this lovely kind of, you know, it's a neutral color with the pops of red in it. So yeah, that's something that I started right after I ripped out my other socks. Sometimes you just need that, you know, you need a clean slate, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's our thing, right? It's our knitting, and we can do what we want with it. So, so those are the Rockin' Robin socks, once again by Ellie of Craft House Magic. She has a podcast as well as a website. Very talented maker. She's a sewist, crocheter, knitting. She does most everything, dyeing her own yarn. So yeah. And I wanted to introduce a whip from long ago, because that seems to be my theme going into 2024, is to dig out all my old whips. And this one isn't that old, and it's still something that you can get. So I want to share with you this. I mentioned in a prior podcast my friend Donna Kay, who I took a Twisted Stitch knitting class with in the fall. She is a prolific designer, and this is one of her designs. I'm just going to take a sip of water because getting a little dry. It's been dry in our house with the heating on now and all. Yep, that happens. So I apologize. Actually, no, I do have a color photo. So this is a pattern by Donna Kay, and she actually designed it for the owner of the Woolly Thistle. And then the Woolly Thistle made up pattern kits because there was it was so popular. Corrine, the owner of the Woolly Thistle, had the cardigan on one of her podcasts, and then she got immediate, excuse me, she got immediate requests for the pattern and the yarn. So this is in the blue colorway. This is called the Star Cardi. Isn't it lovely? It's an all over color knitting pattern, and it is steeked. So cut up the front after you get this all done. And yeah, I think the armholes are steeked as well. But the sleeves are done separately and then sewn in. So probably not for the faint of heart. And I managed to grab a kit a while ago in the green colorway. And let me see if I can find the sleeve that I did. Sorry about the rustling. These are the actual colors. So this is Jamieson and Smith, and this is shade 34, kind of a nice true green. And then there is the lighter green, and this is FC62 mix. Yeesh. Lighting is a challenge. Maybe Santa will bring me a ring light. So I elected to start the sleeves first so that I wouldn't be on Sleeve Island later on. And so here is one of the sleeves. It's such a stunning pattern. It's a very set-in sleeve, so you can see from this angle the cap on the sleeve. I'm gonna have to be in a dark room somewhere by myself when I start to sew these sleeves in. But anyway, it's just gorgeous. I mean, I'm not at all deterred by that finishing technique at all. It's beautiful. You can see kind of a faux sleeve seam stitch here going up. Donna has such attention to detail in her patterns that I have no fear with this one at all. So once again, this is something that I really want to finish. I have started actually the second sleeve. This is only how far I've gotten. This is a fingering weight yarn, so it does take some time to get somewhere with it lengthwise. However, it is fun to do like two-color knitting. I have always been asked by a lot of people how I do my two-color knitting, and I hold one color in each hand. And I knit Continental, which is holding, normally for one color knitting I hold the color, or I hold the yarn in my left hand. So one color goes in the left hand and the other color goes in the right hand, and I taught myself how to throw that second color. So yeah, getting re-excited about this. I think, you know, once you get a sleeve done, you're like, oh, okay, all right, I'll go on to the next one. And then something happened, you know, something happened, I got distracted, so as you do. But anyway, so that is the Star Cardi, done in J&S by Donna Kay. And kits and pattern are available at the Woolly Thistle, and actually the pattern is available on Ravelry. Donna told me that back in October when I saw her. So the pattern is available on Ravelry, so you can actually pick any two fingering weight yarns you want. But the J&S is so nice. I mean, it's meant for color work. Sorry, I had to pause the camera there because that bag is really noisy and I didn't want that to come through on the video. All right, so moving on to spinning. I had a day out spinning over at the Coolidge homestead. Coolidge was the only president from Vermont. He served back in the 1920s, and the state of Vermont has preserved his birthplace and homestead in Plymouth Notch. So that's not a far drive for me. And I went up there to spin with the Six Loose Ladies, which is my local yarn shop down in Chester, Vermont. And we had a great day. I actually did a Vlogmas for that one. They had music, they had cookies, they had coffee. wreath making, tree lighting, that sort of thing. So it was kind of a nice festive day. Got the, you know, got the spirit rolling. So, but anyway, I elected to do kind of, you know, a Christmassy color. If you've seen this before, this is John Arbin Textiles, and it's 100% Coria Dale, and it is Canta de Osana, which is the colorway. And I brought my Louette wheel over there, and this is the singles that I managed to spin up while I was there. This is the yarn. Oops, I should take it out of the bag. What am I doing? This is the yarn eventually that I'm going to ply with the singles. So very cool. Really loving this color a lot. And I only have one little bag left. I think these are 4-ounce bags. So one little bag of it left, and then I'll see what yardage is that I have. And then I will report back and try to make a decision on what I'm going to use that yarn for. Yeah, it was a nice day out over there at Coolidge. We've spun there before, but usually they have us there July 4th, and we're out in the barn, and it's usually the hottest day of the year. So it makes it a little harder to spin because your fingers start to get a little sweaty. So, but anyway, that's also very fun. All right, so that's it with spinning. I just want to go into some of the things that have come my way via mail, and some of the things I purchased since the last time. I want to show you first some yarn. I didn't show this on my Vlogmas because there were other yarns I showed off there. This is from a dyer in New Jersey, which actually is my home state. I was born and raised there. And she kind of warms my heart. She has her own podcast as well. It's called Pine Barren Knits. It's Hope, and Keisha is her friend that she does the podcast with. And Hope does yarn dyeing, and she has quite some yarn and beautiful colors. And the first one is called Hope's Favorite. It is an 80% extra fine superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% recycled nylon. It's a fingering weight. And yeah, this is called Cobblestones. So I'm kind of in a mood to make brown and blue socks. So yeah, that's very, very nice. Very nice. And then the other one I got from her is called JoJo Sock. That's the base. It's 75-25 superwash merino and recycled nylon. It is also a fingering weight, and it's called Shore Thing. And if you know anything about New Jersey, everybody loves the shore there. So there is a representation of that. It's got some nice pops of a purpley blue, a yellow, and some aqua in there, with mostly it being an off-white. So very cool. Hard to get some, lighting's changing here. So those are some yarny acquisitions. I wanted to share with you a book that I came across, my Instagram, probably Facebook as well. You know how that goes. And I think the 5th or 6th time it came across, I said, all right, I'm going to buy this. So anyway, this is called Nordic Christmas Crochet. And it's a whole bunch of decorations that are crocheted for Christmas. I'll just show you. And of course the photography is just gorgeous. This is done. The authors are Heidi B. Johansson and Pia H. Johansson. I think they're sisters. Here's some baubles. So kind of simple, understated, but beautiful all the same. Here's a little trumpet ornament. Very cute. And then they have the trees, which just grabbed me. But then I found out, once I got the book, that they had these beautiful little houses that you can put a candle in, or, you know, one of those non-flame candles, the battery-operated ones. And I thought, oh my God, this is beautiful. Probably not for this year, but definitely for next year. Anyway, here are the trees. Yeah, it's so cute. And then the houses are here, little buildings and houses. It doesn't show them lit up there, but I think they have another, yeah, another picture of them lit up. Let's see if I can get this. There they are. Just simply gorgeous. Yeah. Yeah, so I had to order that. I mean, come on, you know. Being the crochet person that I am. So I'm going to put this here so I don't drop it on the floor. The other two books I wanted to show you was the book. This is called Salt and Timber. This is a knitting book, and it's by Lindsay Fowler. It's a Lina book, and it's knits from the northern coast. And the reason why I got this book initially was because there was a set of socks in here that I thought were the cat's meow. And watch it, I can't find it now. They're actually slipper socks, just like the banjo socks that I'm doing right now. But of course I can't find them. But this has some really beautiful textured knits in it. There's a shawl with some textured trees on it, and some really warm woolly socks, actually several pair of a hat, shawl, another shawl. So yeah, here they are. These are made in worsted weight yarn with a nice little cable cuff there. So yeah, I was really drawn in by that. But once you get the book, you realize every pattern is a winner. And just beautiful stuff. There's a nice little textured sweater and hat. Yeah. So worth a flip through if you you're into that kind of Northwest vibe. And then the final thing I want to show you is Grand Shetland Adventures. This is a recent publication by Gudrun Johnson and Mary Jane Mucklestone. Gudrun Johnson was born and raised in Shetland, and Mary Jane Mucklestone hails from Maine, so local gal. I got to meet Mary Jane Mucklestone just recently. She's a lovely, lovely lady, and I can't say enough about her patterns. I'm a true fan. And this book has such lovely photography of the Shetland Islands. Even if you're not a knitter, it's worth like looking at the pictures. So as you can see right here, the stone buildings, that's Gudrun herself. The both of them are models for all of the knitwear in this book. And this is the Wriggles cardigan. No, Ridgie's cardigan, sorry. I can't read either. But here's an example of the photography. Just gorgeous. Just lovely. And Mary Jane has a beautiful Peary Shop cardi in here. And there's another V-neck sweater that she's done. This is a classic Fair Isle vest. And of course on the front is a shawl done by Gudrun herself. Lots of nice texture in it. A nice line running down the middle. So yeah, so those are my finds and purchases from the last 2 weeks. I think that's going to do it for me. This is kind of a lengthy podcast for me. I will probably see you in a little over 2 weeks. My podcast day for recording is usually Monday, and in 2 weeks that'll be Christmas Day, and I will be with family. And I will probably be returning to Vermont on that Wednesday that week, and then maybe I'll sit down and podcast before the new year is upon us. So I don't make resolutions, I make intentions. So perhaps I will have somewhat of a list for you of what I intend to do in 2024. I've kind of alluded to it here already. But yeah, it's something to think about. I mean, there's no pressure there. Resolutions seem to me like if you don't do it, it's not, there's all that negativity associated with it. Whereas intentions are, this is what I feel as though I want to do, and this is where I want to move toward in the coming year. So it's kind of like a plan. So I like that. So in the meanwhile, take care of yourself. Have happy holidays, and keep crafting. And I will see you after the holiday. Take care now. Bye bye.